One thing that, you're talking about leverage, and it just reminds me of, the back and forth back when the Le Batard Show was with ESPN. There was a lot of leverage being exerted there because the Le Batard Show at the time was the biggest sports podcast in the world. They had this huge following. Frankly, they were propping up a lot of ESPN numbers. And so when that split happened, they were able to use some of that leverage to get all the sounds and all of their beds and everything that they had in their catalog to come with them when they start with Meadowlark. Well, fast forward about a couple of years, really, not even. And I come across a headline in Forbes talking about ESPN is in talks with DraftKings to rename it Sportsbook to include the ESPN name in a deal worth as much as $3 billion now. This is a little different.
Is that a million or a billion?
Billion with a B.
Billion, people.
This is a little different than ESPN, say, buying DraftKings. Like, this is not Disney making a power play and straight up buying DraftKings, but it does open up an avenue for a partnership that, I think we had all kind of figured the door was kind of closed on by now, and that is the Dan Le Batard Show getting back in with ESPN to some capacity. Now, again, this is not like a straight ownership type deal, but it's ESPN putting their name on DraftKings. And you have to assume, I think, that when you do that, you are cracking the door to more cross collaboration.
Cracking it.
And, so this goes back to a conversation that we had a while back.
How cracked is that door, though, Ty? What do you think, Brian? What do you think?
Crack.
How cracked is that door?
We're talking like butt crack.
I think it's a big crack, guys. I think it's a huge crack.
You can make out half the face in the door.
So
that's a big crack.
You know what? I'm gonna say it's like a crack that's the size of Jack Nicholson's face in The Shining. Like, it's fully cracked, like cracked open, wide open, fellas. I think this is happening. I think this crack is about to blow up.
So you're telling me we might hear Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Guys brought to you by DraftKings, brought to you by ESPN. Like, that might be a thing, like hearing that tagline. Is this like the day you finally saw MLB The Show on an Xbox system and the PlayStation logo pops up on it when you start it up? Like, it's kind of like, hold on, this is weird, because this feels weird to me. I don't like this.
So I would say it makes a lot of sense from ESPN's perspective. It makes a lot of sense from Disney's perspective. God knows how much money they are leaving on the table by not getting invested in sports gambling, especially because they own the largest sports property, entertainment-wise, news-wise, in the entire world. So, like, there's obviously a lot of money at play here. And $3 billion to get involved in that without really getting their hands dirty in running the sports book, that's a huge power play for them. What I don't know is if that will, because it would be renamed essentially. So it would be something probably like ESPN Sportsbook or something like that. Like, the name ESPN would go in the name. So it would cease to be DraftKings. So, like, are those four letters
to be
in that new
are you sure it ceased to be DraftKings? It wouldn't just be ESPN would just promote, because you want the name DraftKings, right? So you're thinking they're going to just shelve the DraftKings brand. I mean, but personally, is that what fans want to hear, or do they just want to hear what do we think is going to happen to the Le Batard Show? Does this mean the wall is down? That when that crack splits wide open, that we're going to get the guests more frequently that we all love? Are we going to get more Mina Kimes if this happens? Are we going to get more of the Foxworth? Are we going to get some more Elmo?
I miss Foxworth.
Yeah. I mean,
his podcast is awesome. I just miss his interactions with people who he can be 100% himself seemingly with. Like him coming on to that show and just like saying, Greg, you're trash. Like, it's like we all know Greg is trash, but it's like, he's trash, but he's our trash. But like, he's like, no, from an outsider's perspective, I'm letting you know that you're trash. And I love it because some people need to be known that they're trash sometimes. But I miss those connections. I miss Pablo.
Yeah.
Bomani. I would kill to have Bomani back.
Bomani, on an episode of the Metal Larkers with Amin, and oh my God, and Howard Bryant. They can talk about tennis all they fucking want. I will listen.